I'm intern minister Carrie Holley-Hurt. Welcome home. Unitarian Universalism is unambiguously and unapologetically progressive. This church affirms the inherent worth and dignity of all people through anti-racism, anti-oppression, supporting the LGBTQIA+ community, working for reproductive rights, voting rights, and other issues as needed. We seek to build beloved community, not only here, but in our surrounding area. And we bring a spirit of joy to it all. It's so good to be together this morning. Please rise, either in body or spirit, for our opening hymn, 1014, Standing on the Side of Love.
Welcome to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Alyssa Goss, and one thing I love about Live Oak is potlucks, of which there is one after service today. Even if you didn't bring anything, you're welcome. My ministry is food. I'd like to welcome any guests we have today. If this is your first time here, please stop by the visitors table so we can meet you and answer any questions you might have. As part of our mission, we want to enhance the connections between each of us and also with the outside world. You can stay connected with everything happening at Live Oak through our weekly email newsletter. There is a link on our homepage. And during this worship service, no need to put your phone away. We encourage you to post on social media things you hear today, maybe even an invitation for a friend to join you next week. We also have Facebook pages. That's also a way. I don't know why we don't ever put this on. I'm making a note. And now here and at home, let us light our chalices with words from Khalil Gibran. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you, and though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. This is a covenant bound not by creed, but by, this is a congregational, bound not by creed, but by covenant. May those in agreement affirm this covenant now. We affirm a caring community of and for all ages, seeking wisdom, doing service, and living with integrity. In our diversity, our covenant holds us in unity as we celebrate our shared spiritual journey.
A special part of Unitarian Universalist Sunday service is the time of sharing joys and sorrows. I think of it as a time where we keep vigil for one another, when we give one another the gift of being present to those among us who have had a special milestone in their personal lives during the previous week. Some particular joy or sorrow that is important for the congregation to know. And today we have many. This is wonderful. Alyssa Gross, joy, I got a new job. Goss, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. We're so grace-filled here that it's totally okay. Got a new job. Yay! Now, Barbara, and I'm not using anyone's last names at this point, my sister's knee surgery went well this week, and I'll be caring for her next this week, so that's great. Chris Jarman says, a joy today for my husband's birthday. Jim is having his birthday tomorrow. Yay. And Stephanie, our amazing dinosaur extraordinaire. My current job is ending in 2 days. Wish me luck in my future transition. Yes, all the luck. I also want to take this opportunity to hold space for Tyree Nichols, his family, and all of those that are traumatized by state-sanctioned violence. May we hold them in our hearts. And often, what is heavy on our hearts are our own fears that we have fallen short. We know that we have left undone those things we ought to have done, and we have done those things we ought not to have done. May we have the courage to be honest with ourselves, the willingness to make amends, and the compassion to accept forgiveness from others and from ourselves, trusting in the assurance that imperfection is expected and love is our guiding and healing force with which we can align our lives. Now join me while we sing Sanctuary. And now, for something completely different, Reverend Joanna is going to present our bronze acorn for January.
So, for those of you who are wondering what is the Bronze Acorn, it is a new award here at Live Oak. Being a member of this community means sharing some of your time and talent in order to help Live Oak achieve its mission and grow our liberal faith. And much of the ministry of this church is done by teams and committees. Working together requires give and take. It requires training and mentoring new members of the team, taking turns with responsibility and authority, and adjusting and adapting to improve. The team that we are honoring today has done that and more. The Live Oak live stream team has had to figure out, without a whole lot of time, how to share our Sunday services with our audience at home, learning new tech, gaining video skills, interacting with those who are watching remotely, and dealing with a minister who is prone to walking off camera. Please join me in celebrating the live stream team and any of you who are here, including Oliver Goss and okay, good, you made it back here. Eileen Burke, hold your applause. Hold your applause. Eileen Burke, Oliver Goss, Audrey McCann, April Huff, and Allison McPherson, please come forward for the first ever Bronze Acorn. So when you see these on someone's name tag, you're going to know that this is someone who has given exemplary service to this church. And will the congregation please now join me in saying thank you.
Good morning. I am Chris Jarman. I serve as your Director of Lifespan Faith Development. I use she, her pronouns, and I want to share a video with you today. But before we show that video, I want to give you a little bit of background on it. So, this is a message that is from a child, just like all of you, who's living their best you values and making a difference in the lives of other young people. So let me give you the background. Anthony is a kid who lives in Saskatoon, Canada. Isn't that a funny name? Saskatoon, it's just fun to say, I love it. Anthony and his mom watched a video of a woman rapping about changes to bathrooms in the elementary schools. Yes, I said a rap song about bathrooms. Weird, huh? So, you'll see a brief part of her video in just a moment as part of Anthony's message. Schools where Anthony lives are making changes so that they will be safer and more welcoming for children who are lesbian or gay or transgender. Trans kids, as many as you know, are kids who have figured out that the gender everyone thought they were isn't actually right. Trans kids are just living as their correct gender, which only makes sense. The woman in the video Anthony and his mom watched does not want changes to be made in the schools. She hasn't learned yet that all people are worthy of love or that we're all connected. And I don't think she's ever taken an OWL class or made space in her heart for people of all genders, sexual identities, and gender expressions. After Anthony watched the video, he said, "Mom, I may not be trans, but I know what it feels like when you go to the bathroom and people don't think you belong there." You see, Anthony's favorite color is pink. And he likes to wear his hair sometimes long, sometimes short, sometimes with purple hair, sometimes with pink hair. And on most days, he's probably carrying a purple or pink unicorn with sparkles and glitter. See, if he's asked, he says, I'm gender creative. So in short, Anthony looks on the outside exactly as he feels on the inside. He is his whole true self, and that's what we want for everyone. When Anthony saw the woman rapping about how trans kids must be fatherless, and you're going to hear this, and abused, and how people of grace means she's referring to people that are religious people. They should pray about this issue and how we shouldn't care about the needs of young people who are trans, and he knew exactly what he was watching: bullying. And Anthony knows that words can hurt. And as Unitarian Universalist, Anthony is shocked and offended that anyone would ever think religious people would accept someone bullying kids. In his eyes, church is the #1 place you go to be safe, where you can count on being able to wear whatever you want to wear, whatever makes sense to you, and use whatever bathroom you want. And so, he made a video all on his own for young people and their families with messages of love and support from Unitarian Universalist people of all ages. And he wants to make sure kids know that there are religions that are welcoming and safe for everyone. So he invites us to think about what we would feel like to be trans or gender creative, and that you watch that rap video, and then think about what messages we might want to share. So let's watch Anthony's message.
Anthony here. I'm here to discuss a Alberta mom who tried to make a rap video. She was talking about how transgendered people shouldn't have the rights to go to their proper washrooms. I don't support that, and I'm not transgendered myself, but I do know how it feels to be out of place in an area of sex or gender.
If our children lose their identity, this will be sad for our future, you see. My heart goes to the fatherless and abused. I guess that's why we have some confused. I am a concerned mother of 3. Keep male and female washrooms where our children can pee.
We're here to say that that message that lady gave is incorrect. She calls on religious people in her video. I don't think that's fair, because religion, it was actually one of the first places that I was safe, where I can feel myself. Kids out there who are trans, I made this message for you. If you haven't found a place where you feel loved, you have to keep looking, because it's out there somewhere for you. Don't stop looking till you find the place where in your heart you feel safe and loved and accepted. That woman said, "Seize the day." Unitarians across the country wanted to join us to say this.
Will you be with me? Will you see me through? When the world is harsh, can I count on you? We have come this far, now it's up to you to be there. I stood up for you, knowing I might never have a chance to show my heart in ways that others learn to take for granted. And now I'm asking you, will you be with me? Will you see me through? When the world is harsh, can I count on you? We have come this far, now it's up to you to be there. For this love, you don't understand.
Do you have a message that you want to share? And if you have words you just want to call out, what do you want to share with people? You are enough. You are loved. You do you. Welcome. Don't try to be perfect.
Someone will eventually understand you.
Yes, Apollo, somebody will eventually understand you. Nice to meet you. You're doing this right. You are safe here. Come again, you are beautiful. All of these affirming words that we need to make sure that the Texas Legislature hears this year. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and we believe that every person must be free to search for what is true and right in life. May it be so, and our story is told.
And now will you please, and now will you please rise in body or spirit for hymn 170, We Are a Gentle, Angry People. Benediction by Rebecca Parker. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. There is an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. And while there is injustice, anesthetization, or evil, numbness, I think that's what that means, there moves a holy disturbance, a benevolent rage, a revolutionary love, protesting, urging, insisting that which is sacred will not be defiled. Those who bless the world live their life as a gesture of thanks for this beauty and this rage.
There's a place in the
Good morning again. And happy 19th day of the legislative session. Yay! Yeah. The thing is, I'm really tired. And I've been tired since the last one. I don't think I've ever dreaded an organized body coming together more than I have of this body during this session. And I know that that's saying a lot because you just know that somewhere a men's rights group is getting together for their annual Joe Rogan Appreciation Convention, complete with sloppy Joe eating contest and social media strategy info session. But you know what? I gotta be intentional. I gotta nourish myself. I gotta get into community. I gotta rest because the stakes are just too high. They're too high for me to burn out. In our state, human rights are under attack. But even stating like that takes the sharpness out of it. So I'm gonna try that again. I think it's more true to say that in our state, humans, their existence, their right to participate fully in life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness are under attack. In the 2021 session, it's not working for some reason. Let me try again, sorry. You know, we're gonna go with this without technology. So in the 2021 session, and look at her, she's beautiful. We saw a wave of bills filed that threatens transgender children. Bills that prohibited trans kids from playing on sports teams that aligned with their gender, and by trying to criminalize gender-affirming care. Now, gender-affirming care is actually a really big term and it encompasses a lot, but what the legislature was going after was the age-appropriate medical intervention provided by transgender children. If you want to know more, speak to me. I got resources. Bills were filed that also tried to dehumanize LGBTQIA people by allowing medical personnel to exempt themselves from providing care, even if the person's life was at risk. Thankfully, this did not pass, but it was filed, and there was some sort of state support. And that support emboldens bigoted and hate-filled actions. We need only look at Club Q to see how lethal this kind of rhetoric can be. It was a horrible session for many people. But the LGBTQIA community, and especially transgender kids, bore the brunt. And not just in this state, but across the country. And it looks like this new session will bring a lot more of the same. Right now, in Texas, 62 bills targeting the LGBTQIA community have been filed, with the vast majority directed at transgender children. And the problem with this is that even when those bills do not pass, and I sincerely hope they do, and I will do everything in my power to fight against them, but even when they don't pass, they cause harm. Real harm. Imagine, if you will, your humanity or your loved one's humanity is on trial. Now imagine that because it's on trial, you gotta show up to committee meeting after committee meeting, listening to truly awful and dehumanizing things about yourself for hours on end. Having to hear your humanity up for debate by a majority of decision makers who appear willfully ignorant of the issue that so deeply impacts your life. Imagine that, if you will. I know some of us don't have to try that hard, and I'm sorry if it caused you pain. Please know that I'm available to you after this sermon or any other time. Now, for those of you that have had to work a little bit harder, because your bodily autonomy Your right to determine what happens with your body hasn't been up for debate. Your right to parent your child hasn't been up for debate. Stay with me. I want you to think of what the impact would be to you. What toll would it take on you, on your physical, your spiritual, your mental well-being, on your job, on your relationship, on your family? This last go around with the Texas Legislative session, they were unable to stop gender-affirming care. They did not succeed in turning doctors and parents into child abusers for providing life-saving gender-affirming care. They didn't get it into statute. And this is all thanks that those that came out to the Capitol over and over again, exposing their pain over and over again. I'm really trying, y'all. I am so sorry. There we go. Who pled and argued, who presented data, that opened up their stories so that they were hoping that the lawmakers would hear. Through the regular and special sessions, people in the LGBTQIA community had to be vulnerable over and over again in front of what was often hostile or just apathetic lawmakers. And when it was finally over, just 10 long months after it all started, the reprieve did not last long. Just 4 short months after the end of the third special session, the governor announced a directive to the Department of Family and Protective Services to treat gender-affirming care as child abuse. And of course, they used their old playbook of putting this awful deed on the community. This left parents wondering, who's safe? Is that new optometrist going to be safe? Are they going to be affirming? Do I need to worry about anyone at my kid's school? Who can I trust? Can they trust you? If you ever wondered about the sincerity of their concern for trans kids, just know that the governor announced this directive right before the primaries. A cynical and calculating move. A move made for power. And that's how I read this last session. And that's how I read this session too. Cynical and violent moves for power. Politicians willing to exploit people to cause them harm so that they can hold on to their power. And they do this by being completely willing to exploit people's fears, their biases, and their ignorances. And the outcome is heartbreaking. Last month, I attended, along with others from Live Oak, the Department of Family and Protective Services Council meeting to read testimony provided by trans children and their families about the impact of the governor's directive. This was all done through the amazing work of Equality Texas. Make sure you are following them this session. Do the spiritual work of opening your emails, please. Equality Texas organized allies to read these testimonies because it wasn't safe for families to out themselves this way. And let me tell you, these letters are both beautiful and heartbreaking. They tell of stories of families working hard to find the right path for their children. They listened to their children. They worked with doctors. They did what was in the best interest of their child. Stories of how gender-affirming care, which has been endorsed by every credible medical organization, has been a literal lifesaver for these children. And these letters also told of anxiety, panic attacks, bouts of depression that trans children and their family were experiencing since the directive. And honestly, since the session. Families wrote of freezing in fear anytime the doorbell rang. One mother wrote that her trans daughter had asked, "Am I gonna die?" When her mother asked why she would ever say that, she said, "Because everyone hates me." Can you imagine that? Because I need you to imagine that. Families have secured legal counsel and have had to coach their children. They've had to coach their children on what to say if CPS shows up at school. Many families have had to move out of Texas or are making plans to move out of Texas, which means that their children and they lose access to support systems like grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins and church communities and friends. The impact of these directives ripple out into our community. And now they're trying to make it law again. This is harm. This is trauma. These political games have real-world consequences. Trans people in this state and elsewhere in the country are feeling isolated and terrorized. They are living in fear when the rest of us seem what? Unaware? Completely apathetic? My colleague Biss, who's trans and who you might have had the good fortune of hearing preach here, said, "It doesn't feel like anyone is coming except my enemies." No one's coming but my enemies? Do we want Biz to feel that way? No. Do we want Biz to feel that way? No. That's right, we don't, because that's not who we are, all right? We are people who live into our values. We don't allow bad policies to go unnoticed. Our values demand that the pain, the isolation, the fear, the devastation of our fellow humans must be seen by us. They must be held by us. We're going to have to dig real deep into our faith to do the work of healing these consequences of this violent move for power. And we're going to have to do this by remaining clear-eyed, okay? We stay clear-eyed and we stay informed of what is happening and how what is happening impact those that are affected. And even when we're very informed, which can be really hard, so I'm going to ask you to dig deep with me today. But even when we're really informed, we do not concede our hope. We do not become hopeless. As James Luther Adam wrote, to cringe in despair of ourselves is to despair of the divine promise. It is to forget that responsibility is response to a spirit that is given to us, to the light that has shone and that still shines. And that light does shine. Right now, all across Texas, UUs are gathered together because we believe in a more just world, in a softer and more beautiful place to land for all people. This is the light we shine. This is our hope. When we live into our principles that everyone has defined worth and dignity, we shine. When we live into our principle that we are part of an interdependent web of all existence, we shine. Because our values are our light. And that light fuels our hope, which fuels our justice work. And it fuels our perseverance. Now, if you're someone where the Christian Bible brings you comfort, when I say perseverance, hear faith, please. We have a value of perseverance. One that has been taught to us by our UU forebears and other activists that work and still do the work of building the beloved community. Because we know, As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, nothing rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. We know that justice work isn't something that happens overnight, but that is accomplished by the hopeful actions of dedicated people who put in the time, because it takes time. My good friend Morgan Davis, who is a former CPS investigator and now a trans activist, says, "We don't need your anger, we need your longevity." During the third and last special session, a trans activist took it upon themselves to visit the author of the bill that would have criminalized gender-affirming care every day. They went to her office every day, and every day they asked her, "Why are you doing this?" They shared stories, they brought in trans kids and their families, and eventually the author was so moved that she slow rolled the bill, and it died in that last special session. That was perseverance. But make no mistake, the work's not done. We're going to persist. Our commitment to the humanity of other insists that we persist. Insist that we bring to the work a sense of longevity. And we don't look away. And we stay hopeful, and we don't stay silent. Because underpinning all of this is what Universalist minister Marion Shutter wrote back in 1894, that love must have control and guide justice. Justice without love is mere brutality. In the circles I travel in, UUs have a reputation for justice. But really, when I think about it, I think what they're seeing is our love. As UUs, we want them to know us by our love. Because love fuels our light. It fuels our values, and it speaks volumes. Our love is powerful. In the committee rooms and in the legislative offices, our love speaks volumes. Through our emails and our telephone calls and our letters, our love speaks volumes. We will be known by our love. We will be shining our light by lifting up what is happening to our neighbors. We will be known by our love for those harmed by cynical and violent moves for power. We will be known for our love to those who have been abused and neglected and marginalized by the system. We will be known for our love when we work for collective liberation, and through our love, those that have been marginalized and terrorized will know that they are not alone, that they are not unloved. We will be known for our love by the family of trans children who are terrorized by their own government. Our love will mean support and hope. It will mean that others are watching and won't let this harm go unnoticed. Our love in action means that we are not forgotten, and that they are not forgotten, and that they are not a statistic or a political talking point, that they are human. And in this, in the shining of our love, our work of justice is fruitful, even when our actions don't have the desired political outcomes. And I pray that they do. I pray that we get those desired political outcomes, that our actions and our testimonies and our emails will be heard by lawmakers. I will not stop working. I will not stop engaging the political system. I will not stop engaging my friends and my family and my community to raise awareness and motivate them to act. And I don't think any of us in here will. So may we hold hope and perseverance and love closely during this legislative session. May we take care of ourselves by moving deep into our values, by moving deep into our community. May those that are being harmed feel seen and loved by us because our light of love shines so brightly. Because what they're going to know us by? What are they going to know us by? Our love. That's right. Amen. Now, I invite you to join me in a time of reflection in word and in silence. I know that my message this morning has been heavy, but I know you're up for the task. My hope for you this morning is that you leave here not feeling burdened by the harm that is being caused, but rather empowered by your hope, your perseverance, and your love, by the tremendous agency that you have to do good, to spread love, and to hold those that have been harmed. As we take this moment of silence, this moment to process, I want you to sense those around you, your community surrounding you. Let this moment be nourishing. Let their light fuel you. Let's hold that together for just a few moments in sacred stillness. Amen and blessed be.
We are the tradition of the Free Church. Our church and our community outreach are supported not from an outside source, but from within. Generosity, therefore, is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and our institutional well-being. We share what is offered every week with an organization that upholds our Unitarian Universalist values. But since this is the 5th Sunday in the month, our Share the Plate will go towards Live Oak's Facilities Large Project Fund. This fund will cover things like fixing the playground and landscaping following the elevator construction, or repairing the flood damage we sustained last month in a freak pipe bursting accident. May our offering of our treasure be received in gratitude and in love.
What an incredible service. I would like to invite you today. We do not have Faith Development Hour. Well, yeah, we do. because we're going to do Fed and Informed, which is all about faith development. So we're going to be learning about what's going to be coming up here at Live Oak for the next 3 months and sharing food and fellowship together. The nursery will be kind of open. So what I'm going to say is the kids can eat, and if they want to go to the nursery with Miss Harmony, Ellen, and Magnolia, it will be open after we eat. And if it's not too wet outside, we may go have a little outside time. So I hope you have your feed bag on and you're ready for a potluck. We'll see you at lunch.
Now please rise as you are willing and able for our closing hymn, 325, Love Makes a Bridge. This morning, I'm giving my benediction to Keith Silva, a trans man and poet, a message for trans kids. There are many who've come before you. We are shining bright, holding you in our warmth. We are working to make the world a place where you can smile and live and play and be celebrated. Until then, tend the flame. Tend the flame of who you are in your wild, creative hearts. Find us and those who walk beside you, because together we will overcome. The world needs your light. Go in peace.
Let us say these words to each other. We extinguish the chalice flame, daring to carry forward the vision of this free faith, that just freedom, reason, and justice will one day prevail in this nation and across the earth. And now, as we depart, we extend and receive the gift of hospitality by taking the first 5 minutes to talk to someone whom we don't know yet well, and inviting them to partake of food and fellowship during our Fed and Informed following service. May we all know the blessing of friendship and of community.